Rome is gearing up for the Jubilee of Teenagers, scheduled for the end of April, culminating in the canonization of Carlo Acutis, the first millennial saint. Thousands of young pilgrims will flood the city, with Father Alfredo Tedesco, the Diocese of Rome's Youth Pastoral Director, along with his team, making sure that they all feel at home. Parishes are mobilizing, volunteers are stepping up, and Roman families are opening their homes to host them. But how can the Church truly connect with today's youth? Hannah Brockhaus, EWTN's senior Vatican correspondent, sat down with Father Tedesco to find out.
Father Alfredo Tedesco, what is the Diocese of Rome doing for the Jubilee of Teenagers in April?
Chiaramente la Diocesi di Roma è la diocesi del Papa.
Clearly, the Diocese of Rome is the Pope's diocese, and therefore the host diocese for the Jubilee of Youth event. We know that the Jubilee will take place from April 25th to April 27th, and will culminate in the canonization of Blessed Carlo Acutis. In the meantime, the Diocese of Rome is experimenting with the ministry of welcome. Our parish communities are organizing themselves both through the structures of reception, the shelters, but also through, we could say, the people, the communities, who are organizing the voluntary service of welcoming young people into our communities.
Per accogliere gli adolescenti nelle nostre comunità.
You are the person in charge of the Office for Youth Ministry in the Diocese of Rome. What does that entail exactly?
Ci preoccupiamo di promuovere proprio il Vangelo, di portare il Vangelo.
In the Diocese of Rome, we try to promote the gospel with all the particularities that this age group needs anyway. And we do it through the network of our parish communities. But we also do it thinking of all those children whom we are not able to reach, even those who, for their own reasons, do not come to church. And so, it's also about experimenting with the animation of the pastoral life for the youth of our diocese.
What is the spiritual reality right now for Italian teens and young people?
Noi abbiamo tanti luoghi comuni sui giovani, sugli adolescenti.
We have so many stereotypes about young people. For example, we think that the fact that they don't go to church means that they are not interested in spirituality, in faith, in the Christian religion, but also in the religious phenomenon in general. Actually, from what we know, I feel that they have a great desire. Definitely a lot of questions. A desire for God. Deep, sincere, authentic, just not expressed in the way we're used to. I'm talking about us adults.
Are there any particular challenges in this moment to reaching young people and to encouraging them to participate greater in their faith, to answer this desire?
The Office of Youth Ministry, the initiatives that we have done, having started right in the COVID period of the pandemic. I started this service on September 1st, 2020. I couldn't help but confront, reflect with the digital phenomenon. And there was the opportunity, our offices know it well, to try to experiment in this field, but with a particularity, asking young people to help be apostles for other young people in the digital context. The Pope calls them digital missionaries, and this is true. That is a real missionary country, a continent, the digital world, where we have to learn a language, the language of this context, and where the protagonists, or rather co-responsible, that is, those who share this responsibility with us, are the young people themselves.
In fact, I had another question about this protagonism of youth that Pope Francis calls it, right? And so you gave me one example, but I don't know if you have other examples of how you are letting youth also lead and not only be the subjects, or be the objects, but be the subjects of the story too.
La Diocesi di Roma ragiona in questo modo.
The Diocese of Rome sees it this way, very concretely. In the team, let's say, in the team for youth ministry of the diocese, I wanted there to be both adults, because it's good that there are, and also less adults. In Italian will be young adults, which are families, consecrated, and so on. But I, at the decision-making level, always want to hear their opinion. Saint Benedict says, when in doubt, listen to the young person. I have tried to make this rule fundamental for me, necessary, so that I don't think of them only when decisions are already taken, but in the process of making decisions, always asking them for their word, which is often the last one. That is, where we adults can't reach, their freshness has led me concretely to always do the right thing.
Sempre a fare la cosa più giusta.
Right now we're in the Jubilee of Hope, so I wanted to ask, what gives you hope for the future of the church and for the future of young people right now?
Per me I giovani
To me, young people are hope. To look at them, to prepare them, to work with them, to be with them, gives me so much joy and hope. But it also gives me reason to look to the future with so much faith.